Hey, welcome back to the Disturbing Illusion / High Impact Flicks. It's High Impact Flicks on X, High Impact Flicks Official on Rumble, and the Disturbing Illusion on YouTube. This is the least watched Flicks on X, High Impact Flicks Official on Rumble, Internet, and the Disturbing Illusion on YouTube. This is the least watched Flicks on X, High Impact Flicks Official. Let's see. Yeah, that's why, because I can't get my technical issues ironed out. Let me just make sure these tabs are muted here. All right, welcome to the show. I appreciate you being here. Diligent Escape is here. We got one person watching. Truth fears no scrutiny. Truth is extreme, and to make it moderate is to lie. Now, let me ask you a question. If the cult of personality or members in the cult of personality had a look, how would you be able to determine you were staring at a cult member? Would it look something like this right here? We're going to go over some excuse me, we're going to go over some infiltrations of Tesla protests by the MAGA faithful. But I just want to make some observations real quick. What are some indicators that somebody is in the cult of personality? Let me know if you know any of these people. Unwavering devotion to a single leader. Would that include wearing the leader's hat, wearing the leader's face on your shirt or on your hoodie, or maybe buying some tennis shoes or a Bible from your leader? Viewing them as infallible, prioritizing loyalty to the figure over facts or reason, or using excuses, I've seen this one a lot, to explain away or deflect legitimate criticism. As a matter of fact, the people in the cult of personality will put you in a particular ideological or political category because you make a good argument against their leaders. That's a red flag. I've had so many people when Biden was in office and when Kamala Harris was running for office, and I would go out there in the streets and I would talk to these people, and you had a legitimate criticism or concern about them, they could not and would not answer it. They only had their talking points, and then they would relegate you to Team MAGA, Team Elephant, for having suggested that maybe you should take a look at some of the hypocrisies and real criticisms of your leader. They may dismiss negative information about their leader, exhibit extreme emotional attachment. We see that on both sides, or parrot the leader's rhetoric without question. And really, it's less about the leader's traits and more about the follower's behavior, which is blind allegiance. And that's definitely a red flag. So we're going to go over some infiltrations. Let me show you this right here. Let me make this a full screen. This is a guy named Adam Francisco. He basically crashed a Tesla protest, and so did this young lady right here. Her name is Angela Rose. Now, this isn't me walloping on these people. I'm not trying to score points or mock them in any way, but I do want to treat them on the same plane as I would treat anybody who decides to take a political position and support and fund and parrot a political parasite. I think that's super important, because if it's true that every 4 years, specifically on the national level, dealing with the president of the United States, every 4 years, we're simply putting our slips of paper, our voice, your vote is your voice, in the slave suggestion box, then that means not only are you willing to be subservient to the guy that you're supporting, but you also want other people to be subservient to your guy. Or gal, as in the case of Harris, if she is a gal. I don't even know. I don't even know anymore. But let's say she is a gal. All the Democrats, the 70 million or whatever, who supposedly voted for Kamala Harris, wanted Kamala Harris to rule you against your will. You didn't want to be ruled by Kamala Harris. And you're like, well, that's just the way the system works. Oh, really? The system only works that way because people believe in a system like that. You really wanted Joe Biden to be your leader. You really wanted Barack Obama to be your leader. And I'm talking about Republicans. And hey, Democrats, you really wanted Donald Trump to be your leader. You really wanted George Bush to be your leader. So it's not so much that you're putting your suggestion in the slave suggestion box so that that person that you want to rule you it just rules you and your family, but you want them to rule other people. And I find that disgusting and disgraceful, because that's really what you're doing. And they're political parasites. They're liars. You know they can't tell the truth to save their lives. You know that they're in it for the special interest groups, for the power and the prestige and all the money that goes along with being the president of the United States, jet setting around in Air Force One, which is, last I looked, $215,000 an hour just to keep that bird in the air. Not counting the servants and the Secret Service members and all of the people that are involved in having that go. So we're going to take a look at first Adam Francisco. We're not going to look at this entire thing, but I think it is instructive to watch a member in the cult of personality, which I'm claiming Adam Francisco is, and I'll explain that in a second, show up at a protest, infiltrating a protest, which is already occupied by other cult members. So you got two members in the cult of personality, two separate cults of personality. They don't realize they're in the same tent. Maybe they're on the other side of the big top, but they're just clowns saying, hey, my clown can juggle better than your clown. My Donald Trump clown can juggle better than your Democrat representative clown. So we're going to take a look at this real quick.
Was right up. Here we go, fisticuffs. Welcome back to my channel. We are here in Tampa outside of the Tesla dealership, and it looks like the protesters are already here. And I got on the Trump was right about everything hat because we're not going to back down. And we're going to walk right up to these clowns momentarily. But I just want to see the dealership real quick so that you guys have the full context of where I'm at right now. That is.
Can you imagine wearing a hat supporting anybody that says Trump was right about everything? How about Plato was right about everything? John, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John were right about everything. Can you imagine the absurdity of saying that any person, any human being is right about everything? And I know it's probably just to goad the other side, but what good is that? What good is that? While these people right here, like Adam Francisco and this other girl right here, mock the left, they're mocking the left for the exact same reasons that they could rightly be mocked, which is so fascinating to me. On the psychological level, you cannot escape the fact that this is super, super interesting.
So cool. Look at all these Cybertrucks. That is awesome. Hope these guys buy it. Get the Cybertruck. Do it. Yeah, there we go. Elon, you're a visionary. Thank you for all you do. So there's like
get the Cybertruck. Maybe you can participate in the 100% recall of all the Cybertrucks.
There's like 25 people here.
I guarantee you guys, as we go along, I will be reading out the super chat. So I appreciate your participation here. We're not even showing up on the screen as far as, oh, we are on the very, very bottom. So yeah, we'll see how high we can go on the screen, on the X platform, and on Facebook and on YouTube. Appreciate you guys being here. Let's enjoy our time here.
You call me a
Oh God. Hey, good. You got a video?
That's pretty racist to you. I'm brown.
Deport the muskrat.
That's pretty racist.
Deport the muskrat.
He's not going anywhere. You guys
Deport
love
the muskrat.
No, you guys love immigrants.
Thank you for recording our protest.
Yeah, no problem.
Right along. Elon Musk is a Nazi.
Yeah, I know. I've heard that before.
Elon Musk is a Nazi.
How you doing?
We're doing good. How about you?
You actually think he's a real Nazi?
I do.
How many Jews has he killed?
Let's look at his family background.
No, but how many Jews has Elon killed?
Maybe with a couple of those trucks, a few.
Oh, you think he's killed Jews with his Cybertrucks? That's bizarre. That's a bizarre take.
This is so surface and so shallow. We're not going to talk about the real issues. We're not going to talk about the real criminals. Let me show you something real quick before we continue with this. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but in the Supreme Court in Wisconsin, this chick right here was just nominated, or she just won in basically a landslide victory. I think she had like 73% of the vote. Her name is Susan Crawford. Let me show you what she says today. Democrat, of course. And it shouldn't matter when you're talking about somebody taking a court or judge position. It shouldn't be about what their politics is. It Shouldn't they be blind with regard to meting out justice? And yet we know that the black robe tyrants on, state level Supreme Courts or the Supreme Court of the United States, they are decidedly against, for example, the Second Amendment. Right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And yet they approve of every single, crazy infringement that could possibly be lobbied and launched against the Second Amendment.
Someone who watches out for people. But I've got to tell you, as a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world.
Now, she didn't do it alone. She didn't take on the richest man in the world. By the way, put a 1 in the room if you think Elon Musk is the richest man in the world. If mainstream media is telling you he's the richest man in the world, if the Democrats are telling you he's the richest man in the world, like Bernie Sanders, if Republicans are telling you he's the richest man in the world, if the government's telling you that he's the richest man in the world, he's probably not the richest man in the world, since all those sources are liars. The richest men in the world, you don't even know their names, what they're affiliated with, or what they're involved in. And they don't have mere billions. No doubt that they have command of trillions of dollars. Look at Larry Fink of BlackRock. BlackRock owns and controls $9 to $12 trillion in assets. You're going to tell me Elon is the richest man in the world?
For justice in Wisconsin. And we won.
She's just a politician. And I saw this today. Says 5 billionaires from out of state funded 77% of Crawford's campaign. This wasn't a referendum on Musk. You people are not fighting the oligarchy. You're doing the legwork for an oligarchy. And you could say that about any side. So you've got Bernie Sanders talking about fighting the oligarchy, and yet he cast his vote for who? He cast his vote for Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris was supported by who? Oh, about 73 to 75 billionaires. Donald Trump was bankrolled by about 52 billionaires. So you got the billionaire class for puppet A and the billionaire class for puppet B. And then you got the Bernie Sanders and AOC going on the Fight the Oligarchy tour, which is completely hypocritical because they are the parasitic puppet oligarchs themselves as they serve the billionaire class oligarchs. This is second verse, same as the first. This is a puppet show put on to deceive, distract, demoralize, and divide the rest of us. So let's get back to this right here. There's some very, very telling things, not only on the side of the Republicans and the Trump loyalists, but also on the side of the Democrats, who are decidedly, or at least they say, they're anti-Musk and Tesla.
Boycott Tesla, deport Elon Musk.
Oh, you're a MAGA guy.
Yeah, man.
I was confused because I see the American flag right side up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's usually we have it upside down at these things.
No.
Wow, so you're out here
Yeah, just out here solo.
by yourself, standing against these clowns.
Yeah.
Wow, what gives you the
Okay. Standing against these clowns. Now, I'm going to demonstrate and submit to you that the guy holding the camera is a clown. And I'm saying clown on the political spectrum sense because I don't have anything personal against this guy. But when you're going to call the other side a clown while you yourself are engaging in clownish behavior, you've got to stop and just kind of savor the hypocrisy of the moment and call it out. Because if you don't call it out, what good is living this life if you're not going to lay down the truth and call out the truth? And we'll come up with some concrete examples on why Adam Francisco is engaging in clownish behavior. This isn't just because I hate the guy or I don't like Republicans or I don't like Democrats. It's not about any of that. It's about, okay, let's talk about who really controls both sides. Let's talk about the fact that it's not a two-party system. It's a uniparty system. And even if it was two-party, it's controlled by the same entities. The DNC is a corporate entity. The RNC is a corporate entity. The corporations control the political sphere, 100% of it. What part of this do people not understand?
cards to come out here?
I think what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are doing are helping everyday Americans by cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. It's as simple as that. And the people that yell the most are usually the perpetrators of the fraud, waste, and abuse.
So we trust the government. Oh, Elon Musk is not the government. Guys, Elon Musk is a welfare queen robber baron, period. He's one of the biggest welfare queens, welfare recipients we've ever seen in the United States. Hey, that's just a fact. It's demonstrable. You can see it. You can look at the record. So if he's a welfare queen, then he's dangling. He's beholden to the people who bankrolled him. So he's going to do their bidding. And you didn't bankroll him, although, indirectly you did. The money that was stolen from you was given to people like Elon Musk. And now Elon Musk is working for the government. So Elon Musk is the government. The government is not going to root out waste, fraud, and abuse because the government is wasteful, fraudulent, and abusive. So this is literally story time, fairy tale, childish belief in something that's demonstrably false. You might as well be standing on a street corner saying Disney was right about everything. You might as well have a hat that said Walt Disney was right about everything. And if you're just joining, the reason I say that specifically is because the guy who's conducting all these interviews right here on the street corner, his name is Adam Francisco. This is the Adam Francisco channel. And he has a hat that literally says Trump was right about everything. That's such a freaking lie.
Right. Well said.
That's why I'm here. I think they're great for America. I think they're doing the right thing.
And one thing I want to point out is that you have biceps. Republican men always have biceps. And look at the Democrat men here. No biceps. It's just an observation I made,
Yeah.
We're going to maintain that shallow level here.
You doing
Just
Adam
shallow.
Francisco on YouTube? Go find me.
Excuse me?
Adam Francisco on YouTube. Go find me. Now we're filming each other.
I can't understand a word you're saying.
That's all right. No problem. Don't worry about it. All right, brother. Thanks for what you do out here.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
By the way, we are live. So if anybody disagrees with anything that I'm saying here, this isn't a one-way monologue. If you disagree with what I'm saying, let's talk about it. Feel free to put a comment.
I got you guys. Why would you fire Elon? He just rescued astronauts in space. So what you think it was a real?
Listen to this.
Steal all of our money. Yeah.
Well, the astronauts he rescued that Joe Biden left stranded for political reasons.
That's another thing. Elon Musk works closely. We'll go back over this because I want you to hear what this lady has to say. It's very interesting, especially when they get to the IRS. So she's saying fire Elon. Elon Musk works closely with another extortionist group called NASA. NASA gets $69 million a year. I'm sorry, $69 million a month. I'm sorry, $69 million a week. No, it's not even that. $69 million every single day from the American tax cattle. Just let that sink in. Nearly $70 million a day gets shoveled over to NASA. And NASA works with Elon Musk. Elon Musk works with NASA. There's so much money being transferred. There's so many people getting wealthy off of the backs of the American tax cattle. It is sickening. And the only way that money can be transferred is through this illusion through the IRS, that the IRS is, you're going to be hammered if you don't pay your fair share, like Bernie Sanders says. But they take all this wealth. It's a big power and wealth transfer scheme. And we know that Congress doesn't care about us because they keep the very domestic terrorists, the IRS, the income tax, the property tax. They keep all that stuff on our backs when they could easily go, you know what? I'm here representing America, and Americans don't want to be suppressed by the IRS. So we're removing that. We're completely dissolving it as of today. Congress could get together and do that today for us. Why won't they? Because they don't work for us. They work for somebody else. So based on the fact that Elon Musk works with NASA, NASA gets $70 million a day from the American tax cattle because it's extorted from the rest of us. And the IRS is the domestic terror cell we don't want in existence. Listen to the next part of this street interview.
Why would you fire Elon? He just rescued astronauts in space. So what you think it was a real?
So he can steal all of our money. Yeah.
Well, the astronauts he rescued that Joe Biden left stranded for political reasons. Didn't that bother you?
Joe Biden left him stranded, and Donald Trump and Elon Musk saved them. Got to have a boogeyman. Got to have a good guy. Got to have a hero, because that's the recipe that works. And then when you send out that message with that recipe in it, it's a recipe package, and then it goes down to the lowest resonating people who pick it up, like Adam Francisco and this chick right here, this lady who wants to fire Elon. It's the lowest resonating people among us on whatever frequency or however you want to describe it, and that packet gets delivered. It breaks open and disseminates in the brains of Adam Francisco, who's on the right, and this chick right here, who's clearly on the left. And it infects their brains, and it short circuits the ability for them to think critically. So they put their critical thinking on the shelf, or it gets completely suspended or just demolished. I don't know if there's any return from this. I hope that there is. And then they start spewing nonsense like, well, Elon Musk rescued people that Joe Biden left high and dry. It's almost like you're sitting in a sandbox on a kid's playground and listening to two 6-year-olds talk about how they perceive the world. Joe Biden bad. Donald Trump is good. Donald Trump rescued the astronauts. He did. How did he do it? Elon Musk came over there and he got with NASA. Don't think about the $70 million a day that they're lifting from the American tax cattle and the extortion racket. But Elon Musk got with Donald Trump and he went out there and he did the thing that Joe Biden wouldn't do. So there, my president's better than your president. It seriously is. It's like childish nonsense. But listen to this part right here. This part.
No, what bothers me is he's ripping apart Social Security and he's ripping apart the IRS so that we don't have our engine that brings in money. And
so we don't have our engine. We're going to listen to this again. Listen to this. Poopy doo. It's just absolute nonsense. You know, the propaganda campaign is 100% effective when the American tax cattle walk up to the plate and swing the bat for the IRS. Brainwashing done. Brain bleaching complete. We're going to listen to it again. Let's listen all the way through and then we'll backtrack. Yeah, real dumbass.
not a citizen, or he's
a citizen.
Well, he's from South Africa.
Citizen, a denizen of the city, a subject to the jurisdiction thereof.
Yeah, but I thought you guys love immigrants.
Yeah, we do, but he's ripping apart our country.
Well, Trump said that Social Security is not going to be impacted for anyone who needs it.
Yeah, that's wrong. They just ripped apart. They're taking.
For anyone who needs it, it won't be affected.
No, that is not right. They cut and slash. They're at a 50-year low as far as workers are there. You call up, you have to wait 20 minutes at a time. I know. I've been calling and calling. My sister, who's on aid, needs to get help, and it's impossible to get it.
Well, it's always been impossible to get through to the government. That's
it's
not a new
helping.
thing.
Yeah, but it's not helping. They just reduced it.
Well, it's going to get more efficient.
It's not efficient.
It's going to get more efficient. Give them some time. Give them some time.
Give them time. They need more people manning.
God, she sounds like a little kid on the playground, doesn't she?
Give me more time. You're not going to take more time.
The phone's not less.
Why would you want to fire him, though? He's done so much for this country.
He has not done shit for
He built the biggest electric vehicle company.
Yeah.
He's done. Adam Francisco. This is the channel. In case you're just joining us, Adam Francisco. You can see it at the bottom here. Let me blow it up for you, or expand it. Excuse me. You got to be real careful about the terminology. You can't blow anything up. Adam Francisco. This is the Adam Francisco channel, and he just said that Elon Musk has done so much for this country. Imagine how much you could do if you were given $14 billion. Let's say you were given $500 million. Forget about $500 million. Let's say you were given $100 million. Imagine the good you could do for America if you had $50 million. But Elon Musk was given over $14 billion. What good has he done? How would you not be able to start a successful company that would take off into the stratosphere like SpaceX or Tesla? How could your stock not go from $1.47 to $225 or whatever it is today? If you were given $14 billion, let me just remind you how massive a sum $1 billion is, let alone a trillion or 100 million. If you were to break 1 million seconds up, how many days? Just put it in the chat. How many days is 1 million seconds? How many days? I'll just shoot it to you. It's 11 days. 11 days. A million seconds is 11 days. How long a time frame is a billion seconds? If a million seconds is 11 days, a billion seconds is 31 years. That's how big a sum a billion is compared to a million. Elon Musk was given 14 billion American tax cattle dollars. And Adam Francisco insists he's done so much for this country. Guess what? He has taken so much from this country. He is who he is because of one of the biggest extortion rackets in this country. And you're literally on the side of Elon Musk, who's Alex Jones insists is not a globalist. He's not a globalist. I'm telling you, Elon Musk is not a globalist. Alex, what about carbon taxes that he constantly talks about? What about universal basic income? What about Neuralink? What about SpaceX working with NASA? No, he's still not a globalist. Then what is it? If that's not a globalist, what is a globalist? All I'm asking you to do, you may love Alex Jones, but all I'm asking you to do is be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself about reality. Stop fabricating. Stop living in fiction. Stop being the kid on the playground sandbox, arguing with this other friend about how great your dad is and he could beat up your friend's dad. Let's get down to brass tacks. Let's talk about truth. Truth is extreme, and truth is decidedly against the message of Alex Jones that Elon Musk is not a globalist. Truth and justice are decidedly against people like Elon Musk and George Soros and Peter Thiel and Mossad and CIA and FBI, who all work, by the way, with the Trump administration against the American people. I mean, who's the director of the FBI right now? Who's the director of another big domestic terror cell? Mr. Libertarian Kash Patel. He's going to save us. Why hasn't Kash Patel gotten together with Pam Bondi and at least eliminated the ATF? We know the ATF's against us. We also know the FBI's against us, but nothing's being done. It ain't going to be done. At the end of Trump's term, we're still going to have the FBI. We're still going to have the CIA. We're still going to have the ATF. We're still going to have the DEA. We're going to have all the alphabet soup agencies that are against Americans. And you're going to sit there and tell me, no, Elon Musk has done so much for this country. Tell me more. Tell me more. What has he done? Really? No, he's rooting out waste, fraud, and abuse. Can you prove that? Can you prove it? Well, because there's the national debt clock, and they put a new golden square on the national debt clock, and it shows how many billions of dollars he's removing from the waste, fraud, and abuse channels of government every single day. It's just BS, guys. It's just BS. Let's listen to what everything she says here. Let's go right when he walked up to her. Let's see this again. It's just unbelievable that anybody would say this. It's unbelievable that somebody would resonate on such a low frequency or plane or however you want to call it. I don't understand all that stuff, but I do know that these propaganda information packets do explode. And they do infect people's minds because I hear what people say and I hear what they keep on saying. And they continue to have hope against no hope. And they continue to suck down the opium, the hopium. And it's no longer Kool-Aid. It's literally laced with hopium. And they're so irrational and impractical. And the things that come out of their mouth is so improbable. And yet, here we are. On a street corner in America. I don't know if this is Texas or California or wherever this is, but it doesn't matter. It's in America. And people are really resonating this low. People are actually this shallow to, on the one hand, go to bat for Elon Musk, the biggest welfare robber baron queen in the history of America, against somebody who's against Elon Musk, but is also for a Joe Biden and a Kamala Harris, who are also controlled by the billionaires. So you got a Trump loyalist. Trump is backed and bankrolled by billionaires. And you got these Democrat loyalists whose candidate is backed by billionaires trying to say, hey, we're here to carve out more freedom for America by standing on a street corner with a sign that says fire Elon. None of it makes any sense. If you think it does, I want to hear what you got to say.
Why
Listen again. Listen closely to what she says.
would you fire Elon? He just rescued astronauts in space.
No, he didn't.
So what do you think it wasn't real?
So he can steal all of our money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, the astronauts he rescued that Joe Biden left stranded for political reasons. Didn't that bother you at all?
No, what bothers me is he's ripping apart Social Security and he's ripping apart the IRS so that we don't have our engine that brings in money. And
That kills me. He's ripping apart the IRS so that we don't have the engine that brings in money. What the actual flippenstein? Have you ever heard anything so ignorant in the past 7 days? I've heard a lot of ignorant things, but this is just, it kills me. It kills me.
he's not a
This is why we're in the shape we're in, by the way. Not so much the political parasites who want to rule, it's the people who want the political parasites to rule themselves and others.
citizen, or he's from.
He's a citizen.
Well, he's from South Africa. So
Yeah, but I thought
he's
you
not-
guys love immigrants.
Yeah, we do, but he's ripping apart our country.
Well, Trump said that Social Security is not going to be impacted for anyone who needs it.
Yeah, that's wrong. They just ripped apart. They're taking.
For anyone who needs it, it won't be affected.
No, that is not right. They cut and slashed. They're at a 50-year low as far as workers are there. You call up, you have to wait 20 minutes at a time. I know. I've been calling and calling. My sister, who's on aid, needs to get help, and it's impossible to get it.
Well, it's always been impossible to get through to the government.
That's true. That's true. When you need them, they're not there. When you don't need them, they're always there. And when they are there, it's because they're trying to threaten you, coerce you, and use the government against you as a battering ram to beat you back into submission.
It's not helping. Yeah, but it's not helping.
Not a
They
new
just
thing.
reduced it.
Well, it's going to get more efficient.
It's not efficient.
It's
when
going
you
to
don't
get more
have-
efficient. Give
No,
them some
it's
time.
not.
Give them some time.
Give them time.
Give 'em time.
They need more people manning the phones, not less.
Why would you want to fire him, though? He's done so much for this country.
He has not done shit.
He
for
built
this
the biggest
country.
electric vehicle company.
Yeah, no, their Cybertruck's falling apart. Massive recalls.
He unlocked free speech on X.
Free speech.
On
That's
X.
Nazi speak.
What are you talking about Nazi speak? He hasn't killed any Jews.
Oh, he did a Heil Hitler.
No, he didn't do that. He was sending his
Oh,
love.
no, that didn't
He
move
said, my heart
Heil
goes
Hitler."
out to you.
Oh, yeah, that.
You know, sometimes I think those things are planned. When Elon Musk went like that, he knows what's going to happen. He knows the fervor and the fury and the outrage that's going to generate. He knows he will be discussed tomorrow. Don't think for a second that these people don't know what their little actions do and that we live in a soundbite age where somebody's going to clip that 10 seconds right there and post it and it's going to go viral, and CNN, the Counterfeit News Network, is going to, well, this it's conclusive. He's a frickin' Nazi. If that wasn't a Nazi salute, I don't know what is. And they're completely dishonest, because you can look at Tim Walz making the same gesture. If you freeze frame enough people, you can show that everybody has given a Nazi salute. If you're just waving to a crowd like there, you can actually click it and just freeze frame it to where it looks like you could do it to me right now. Look. Oh man, Brian's a Nazi. Brian's Illuminati confirmed. It's got to be, because I say, unbelievable what people. I don't care what salute he did. I care about his actions. I care about his background. I care about how he got his money. And we're talking about Elon Musk here. Same thing with Donald Trump. Same thing with Joe Biden. We're going to talk about the things that they do and the things that they don't do. They don't get rid of the IRS, but they do initiate the Patriot Act, and they can keep signing the Patriot Act. And the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, the NDRP, the National Defense Resources Preparedness Act. They sign all these acts and all these edicts and all these executive orders that make us less free and make boatloads of money for other people that you don't know the names of. So it's a transfer and wealth, transfer of wealth and power everywhere you turn, every single candidate, whether you're talking about a rightist or a leftist, they're still statists. They're in the same road, heading in the same direction, just so happen to be in a different ditch, but they're under the same tent, and they want you to participate in the WWE Dog and Pony Show under the Washington's District of Criminals Big Top. That's what it really amounts to. That's what this thing's all about. And you have to have the protagonist, and you have to have the antagonist. And this is what gets the slaves on the plantation engaged in voting for an oppressor who's going to beat them less. Take them to the post less. Shackle, the chains will be lighter upon us if you just vote for my guy, but he's still going to put chains on you. It's just going to, he promises it's going to be lighter, and I believe him. It's never worked out in the history of mankind. Anytime they promised, turns out they always lie. The chains are never lighter. They're always heavier. They don't take me to the whipping post less. They always take me more. But I think this time, this is it. This is our guy. He's going to help us. Joe Biden is our savior. Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're our only hope. Donald Trump, you can do no wrong. I don't care if you shoot somebody on Fifth Avenue. It's the polls. The polls say I can shoot anybody and not lose a single voter. Okay. Yeah. Donald Trump's our savior. Joe Biden's our savior. Kamala Harris is going to save us. We're not going back. We're not going back. They literally have people at these Republican and Democrat pep rallies chanting like little kids. That's how demeaning, demoralizing, and divisive it is. While they stand there up there on stage and tell you how bad the Republicans are or how bad the Democrats are. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're all bad. You're all out to lunch. You're all voting for psychopathic, political, corrupt parasites. Stop calling them Democrats and Republicans. Let's start calling them what they are. Corruptocrats. They're not Republican. They're not Democrat. They're corruptocrats. That's what they are. That's how they act. You going to tell me there's minimal corruption in the government when we're inching closer and closer every single day to $40 trillion worth of debt? Who do we owe? Oh, I guess those are our masters. Yeah, they are. So you can vote for anybody you want. They ain't going to change nothing. Stop looking for it. Ain't going to happen. Hasn't happened. Keep doing the same things over and over, expecting a different result. What does that make you? Insane? Doing what you've always been doing and getting what you've always been getting? Are you freaking crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Not that my heart goes out to you, sign. Go away.
You said my heart goes out to you.
I've never heard that. Demonicans. That's hilarious.
Save our democracy, deport Elon Musk.
Let's think about this for a second. What is democracy? If you knew anything about American history, you would know that one of our Masonic founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin or Thomas Jefferson or both, I don't know who it's attributed to, and maybe it's not even them, but it makes sense. Democracy is two wolves and a lamb deciding on what to have for dinner. But guess what? You're still the dinner. You're not invited to dinner. You're the main course. You're the one they're going to devour. It's two wings of the same bird of prey, always circling around, looking for somebody to devour. And that somebody is you and me, while you continue to hold water for them, while you continue to vote for them, support them, fund them, argue for them on street corners, obviously. That's what democracy is. And it's an illusion. I know why they use the term democracy. I know what they mean by it. They literally just mean, hey, a method of politics where everything's fair and equal and we got justice under one system. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And at the very least, the first step that we can do is dissolve the federal bureaucracy. We don't need that. Washington's District of Criminals has gotten us into how many trillions of dollars worth of debt? How many wars? How many people had to die? How many people abroad have we blown up? How many bombs have been dropped? How much money has gone into the pockets of the military industrial complex and the prison industrial complex and the defense contractors? Because some politician signed some bill, or because AIPAC owns everybody in Congress, or because there's 12,000 literally 12,000 lobbyists that run Washington's District of Criminal swamp? And no telling how many other special interest groups who just come with this blank check saying, if you just write this, if you just put this into policy, if you turn this bill into an act and then into a law, this is what you're going to get in return. And then when your tenure's done with Congress, why don't you become a CEO for our company? And you got Bernie Sanders saying, we got to take money out of politics. And you got Cenk Uygur from the Young Turkeys, the progressive propagandist that he is, saying, we got to take money out of politics. It's not going to happen, Cenk. Politics is all about money. Politics is all about the art of trying to convince people that this is legit when it absolutely isn't. That certain people have power over other people, that some people can, they have the divine right of kings and they can make rules that others have to submit to. And if they don't submit, then they should be punished. So we need prohibition and we need the drug war and we need to make sure we get fentanyl out. We need to make sure we are our borders. Everything that the government does, everything that you want the government to do, even if you think it's a good thing, and most people think that what the government does is good, unless until you really press them on them. But, let's say, no, we want to be protected. So we want strong borders. No, we don't want fentanyl killing our children in the streets. So we need to make sure that we keep that out of our country. No, we don't. We want to make sure that men aren't coming home beating their wives. So we're going to engage in prohibition. But any kind of prohibition, whether it's drug prohibition, alcohol prohibition, illegal migrant prohibition, because that's what you're doing. You're telling the government, hey, make it so that this is illegal. And if this person buys or sells or transports alcohol, make sure you criminalize them. And if you catch them buying or selling or transporting alcohol, make sure you throw them into a torture cage for buying and selling and transporting and possessing alcohol. Wait a second. A minute before this act became a law, everything was okay. And now everything's not okay because some political parasites in Washington District of Criminals said it wasn't okay. And if I get caught doing it, then I'm going to be the criminal. Only a criminal would write a bill like that. Only a criminal would enforce a bill like that. See, that's another problem we have with this country, is that we have the law enforcement class doing the bidding of the political class. And if the law enforcement class wasn't submitting to the political class, it wouldn't matter what the political parasites wrote on paper. It's not going to materialize and nothing's going to happen to you. But because the law enforcement class is incentivized through, hefty paychecks to do what the political class wants, as long as there's profit in being evil, there will always be men to fill in that gap and do evil. Back to Adam Francisco's ridiculous street corner interviews.
How did we not save democracy? We voted for Trump. We voted for Trump.
We voted for Trump. That's another thing that the left and the right do. They always put everybody into the same basket. I just saw it a couple times on CNN last week, a couple times on MSLSD. The people voted. The people's voice. I saw it on Fox News, rather. Fox News was like, hey, the people voted for Donald Trump. It's like, wait, so you're putting me in with that? I didn't vote for Donald Trump. A whole lot of other people didn't vote for Donald Trump. Stop saying this is what America wanted, because at least half of them didn't. But they like to use these euphemisms. They like to inflate things. They like to just outright lie. No, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. We voted for Donald Trump, Adam says.
We voted for Trump through democracy. Democracy won.
I didn't vote for Trump.
I'm saying the country did.
Oh, what? What?
Democracy won.
You mean the rigged election that Musk and Russia did in China?
Oh, you think 2024 was rigged?
Oh, of course it was.
Are you an election denier?
Oh, man. You think Trump got elected legally?
So are you denying the results of the election?
Sure am, baby.
But didn't you also want the 2020
I heard
election?
Trump for 4 years say it. So for 4 years, I'm going to say it.
So,
how does that grab you?
Do you really?
So childish. So freaking childish. Well, I heard you guys say it for 4 years, so no, I'm going to say it because this makes me feel better. This changes nothing. It actually solidifies you deeper and deeper in cognitive dissonance. And it's not just her. She comes off as crazy because of how she's acting, all animated and stuff. But Adam is just as crazy because she's drinking her blue flavored Kool-Aid and Adam is drinking his red flavored Kool-Aid. What's the difference? You guys are both drinking Kool-Aid. You've both long ago checked into the cult of personality and you're mocking each other while you're doing the same things. You're applauding the same clowns. You're applauding the same people who back the same clowns.
Do you really believe it, though?
I believe it. Yes, I believe it. Just like Trump believed it.
How did they rig it?
I believe
Where's the
it.
evidence?
I believe for 4 years I heard Trump talk about it. So for 4 years he's going to hear me talk about it.
Yeah, but you're just saying it to say. You don't really mean it.
I mean it, just like Trump meant it.
How did they steal it, though?
You think Trump didn't mean it? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they
Trump
stole it with the
didn't mean
COVID. They stole it with the mail-in ballots.
You mean, in other words, you believe Trump won in 2020 and the election was rigged and Biden
Yeah, of
won?
course. You guys lost 10.
There you go.
You lost 10 million voters.
You're saying
10 million voters didn't show up in 2024.
Hey,
You guys lost 10 million voters.
Trump
rigged the 24 election. Period. End of story.
And really, if you think about it, it really doesn't matter if the election is rigged. If it doesn't matter who you vote for, and every vote is a vote for the banksters and the corporate oligarchs, what does it matter if it's rigged or not? Oh, you're rigging a rigged election? What does it even matter? If if I cast my vote for Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is controlled by the billionaire technocrats, or if my brother votes for Kamala Harris, which he didn't, but if he did, and she's supported by billionaire technocrats, then guess what? Billionaire technocrats win. And besides that, whether you have billionaire technocrats or not, you do have the biggest, baddest organized crime ring in control of the world reserve currency, which is the United States dollar. And that's the Federal Reserve. And they never change. It doesn't change the board of governors on the Federal Reserve. And even if the president appoints the chief of the Federal Reserve, it doesn't matter, because the Federal Reserve is going to do what the Federal Reserve is going to do. They're going to do quantitative tightening, quantitative loosening. They're going to inflate the money supply, the M2 money supply, and devalue the time and laboring energies of every single American, and everybody who votes or trades with the American dollar. They are in the driver's seat, and they don't leave the driver's seat no matter who you decide to put in the back seat, because you think that they're actually grabbing the wheel and steering the vehicle, when the real steerers of the vehicle are the Federal Reserve, and the puppet that they control is in the back seat being carted around by the Federal Reserve chairman. It's like that. What was it? Little Tykes or Fisher Price or whatever had that little toy that the little kid, it straps onto the back seat, and the little kid actually thinks he's driving, but it's really the adult driving the vehicle in the front. But it gives this kid a tremendous amount of satisfaction thinking that he's actually in control of this 3,000-pound vehicle. It's just nonsense.
I don't think we're going to agree on this. Well, you can. I mean, you can call the police. This is public grounds.
Yeah.
And I'm just standing here peacefully.
Talk to you.
That you don't have to talk to me. You're right. But thank you for your words.
Let me ask you something. Who do you think is censoring the other side?
Now, this guy right here, I want to play him because he actually sounds rational. He actually sounds like he wants to have a calm discussion. But the bottom line is he's still on the other side of the status road, going in the same direction as Adam Francisco.
Do you think that Trump is trying to censor the Democrats, or do you think the Democrats are trying to censor Trump?
Well, I'll tell you this right now. When Twitter was owned by Jack Dorsey, 99% of censorship was against conservatives. 1% of censorship was against. This was from the Twitter files.
Well,
this has already been confirmed.
Twitter is a private company, or used to be a private company.
The government had direct access to their platform. They had backdoors, and that's why they were choosing who to censor. The White House would censor.
Right now, Trump is trying to censor people with a liberal point of view. Look at what he's doing in the universities, where he's.
Well, they were threatening Jews.
Yeah,
they were calling for.
Can make all kinds of.
They were calling for Intifada, which is the killing of Jews.
Joe Biden never tried to cut funding to universities because he didn't like what they had to say.
How you doing? Well, if you're threatening to attack Jewish students and kill Jews and kill Israel, that's a threat.
The one young woman that got seized by the ICE, she wasn't threatening anybody. She was calling out for to stop the bombing of Gaza. She wasn't threatening anybody. It was strictly to stop the bombing.
So do you think that
been sucked away by ICE now to, I think from, if I remember correctly, from New York to Louisiana? Why would you take somebody with a green card and whisk them off to a jail somewhere without due process?
Well, I mean, I think Ruby.
I think he's got a point. You don't take somebody out of the country without due process of law, because if you're saying that it's okay to do that, then you're saying it's okay for them to do that when your day comes. Let me show you this meme that I was talking about. I made this meme a little while ago. It says, the Federal Reserve is behind the wheel. Here's another clueless voter. Voting is a psyop that gives grown adults the illusion of control. This perfectly depicts what the voting process is about. And then when people start talking about voter fraud, it makes you laugh even more, because it's like, wait, if the system itself is already fraudulent, then whether you vote or don't vote, or whether you vote for one guy or the other, it doesn't really matter because every vote is a vote for the guys that you didn't want in office, actually behind the driver's seat, steering the entire thing. Let me show you this right here. This is from CNN. We're going to get back to Adam here in a second. I want to skip around and just kind of shake this up, though. This guy right here is a MAGA voter. He's a guy who voted for Donald Trump, and now he's got sticker shock and he's got buyer's remorse. And same with this one. This one is covered by the Counterfeit News Network, so there's no telling how much truth is involved in it and if this lady's an actor or not. But I have seen a lot of these videos where people who at one time voted for Donald Trump are regretting their vote. And listen to why they say they regret it.
I'm going to be honest with y'all about something. I voted for Trump. I'm in a little town outside of Memphis, and I voted for Trump mainly because I'm a Christian man. Been Christian, you know, I guess my whole life. And Trump said he wants to help the Christians, you know. And then
Trump said he wants to help the Christians. And you know what? I believe Trump. I don't think Trump's going to lie to me. So I'm going to go ahead and buy that ticket, enter the tent, sit down in my seat, buy the popcorn, and then I'm going to get me a big old soft drink. I'll make it diet. It's no big deal, but I believe everything that clown Donald Trump says. He didn't say clown, but this is childish behavior. This is infantile, first grade behavior. To turn on the TV, whether it's Fox News or the Counterfeit News Network or MSDNC or whatever, and to actually believe any word that comes out of any politician's mouth. I don't care if you're talking about Nazi Pelosi. I don't care if you're talking about Marjorie Taylor Greenberg. I don't care if you're talking about Adam Schiff for brains. They're all lying to you. They got a $174,000 paycheck plus benefits, which means they're making over $80, $85 an hour if they're working 2080 per year, which, you know, they don't. And they're out there ruining people's lives, shoveling money to the defense contractors, to the military industrial complex, to the prison industrial complex, to the corporations, lightening their load and padding their own pockets. So you're going to sit there and tell me that any politician is telling you the truth and you believed them? And they actually convinced you to demoralize yourself and cast a vote for a known liar? What is going on with this world? And why aren't we talking about this? Why is it that all of fake stream CIA infiltrated Operation Mockingbird, MK Ultra Media is geared toward getting you on one side of the political spectrum or the other? Why is so much money deployed against us every single year? We're talking about billions and billions of dollars in campaign funding for that one guy who's going to take away our chains, and it never happens. And then we all play the part of Charlie Brown running feverishly with all this hopium. It's this, your veins are infused with hopium. Just knowing that Nancy won't take the football away this time. She did 1,055 times before, but she's not going to do it this time because she assures me that the football is going to stay on the ground and my foot will make contact with it and it will sail through the uprights. You're kidding me that anybody in 2025 believes one word that comes out of the mouth of one single political parasite, and yet here we are. I believe Donald Trump.
He had me all scared about the Mexicans saying they're rapists and whatnot and drug dealers and all that. And he said, I'm going to help them. I'm going to end this on day one and fix eggs on day one. And it just all sounded real pretty like. And then here we are, and Trump's destroying America. I mean, he's gotten rid of, now he said he wasn't going to touch Medicaid. Now he supports Medicaid being defunded. He supports Social Security, Medicare, all that shit being defunded, being tore down. Hell, if he gets rid of Medicaid, my mama's sick in a fucking nursing home. Excuse my language. But she's in a fucking nursing home. Excuse my language again.
He keeps saying this.
Me and my sister, who just got fired from the VA after working there for 14 fucking years.
Excuse my language. Excuse my language again.
Fucking Elon.
What is it? There's a Bible verse that says, don't let any corrupt word come out of your mouth, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen, or something like that, something to that effect. It kills me that these Christians are constantly saying what they are and what they'll do, and they're infused by the Holy Spirit, and they've been imbued with power from on high, and yet they can't even control their tongues. It's crazy. I mean, I don't care if you cuss or not. I'm just saying, from the Christian perspective, it's hilarious to me. If I was a Christian, I wouldn't be cussing. I wouldn't be dropping the F-bomb this many times. Are you kidding me? Isn't it more important? Let's just talk about this. Just a little segue. It's a little bit kind of a segue, although we are talking about the realm of the cult of personality, and you got your religious cults and you got your political cults. You got your cults for Democrats. You got your cults for Republicans. You got your cults for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Barack Obama. And you got your cults for Ronald Reagan and George Bush and Donald Trump. So if you're going to call yourself a Christian and you're going to claim that the Holy Spirit, who breathed life into everything that ever was, ever is, or ever shall be, and he doesn't have the power to manifest and control your tongue, how serious should I be taking you? This isn't a slight to any Christian. I'm just saying, man, if you get the power of the Holy Spirit in you, you'd be doing way more things than just holding your tongue. Unfreaking believable. Unbelievable.
We gonna have to fit the bill. We can't afford it. We ain't rich people. I live in a small town. We can't afford it, y'all. And the people that can't afford it, the fucking billionaires, he wants to give them wealth.
He said it again. It's like, this is the way this guy talks. This is the way this guy talks. He's not just talking like this because he's upset. This is the way, this is a lifestyle for this guy. He says it just too easily.
Fair. And the poor people out here busting their ass every day, and the middle class people out here suffering. Can't afford a house. Can't afford to feed their family. And he wants to raise our fucking taxes.
He said it again.
I should have never voted for that devil. And Elon's a fucking Nazi. When he did that salute, I fucking knew it.
God, how many times did you drop the F-bomb? Is it like 10 times already? This is crazy and cringy. It's as cringy as it is crazy.
And then what he supports.
Hey, let me ask you Christians out there. I'm not against you guys, but let me just ask you, like, when at the point where you say you got converted, was there a real change in your life? I'm talking about a real substantive change where somebody looked at you and was like, dude, used to talk like a sailor, man. And now he's like St. Paul. It's like he just came down from the mountain. He's got the tablets in his hand. Jeez, he's glowing. I mean, isn't there supposed to be? I've read the Bible and I know what the Bible says. And I know it says the old things have gone away and behold, all things have become new. So if that's true, and I take that literally, I'm like, imagine the power you have to create the universe, worlds, all that is, the sun, you created everything, and you're going to come down and occupy my lowly temple, this temple of clay. There better be some manifestation, man. I'm telling you. If I'm going to take the Bible seriously, and I think the Holy Spirit is any kind of power, and it doesn't say all scripture is theopneustos, it's God breathed and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be thoroughly equipped for every good work. Doesn't it say that? You're thoroughly equipped for every good work. It's like, let's just take it on a professional plane. Okay. I was just a 120-pound weakling coming out of high school. And now all of a sudden, let's say the football Holy Spirit came inside of you. Boom. I'm completely different. I'm going to the NFL right now. I'm scoring touchdowns. I'm basically Walter Payton right now. That's how, if you were going to look at it at the conversion process of not Christian to Christian, you can look at it like NFL or high school 120 pounder to all of a sudden you are Walter Payton. There is a difference. This guy is blowing through defensive tackles like you wouldn't believe. Catching balls, entering end zones. You can't stop this guy. That's how I view Christianity is, wow, this guy was like negative, critical, evil. He did evil stuff. And all of a sudden there was this conversion, like Saul of Tarsus became Paul the Apostle. He was no longer killing Christians. He was actually overseeing the death of Christians. And now he got imbued with power from on high. And now, not only is he not killing Christians, he's giving his life freely to tell people, risk his neck to tell people about the gospel. To me, if you're claiming to be a Christian, that's your conversion experience as something that's regular. It's routine. That's just what happens. But I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I don't see people who call themselves Christians as any different. As a matter of fact, in my experience, people who call themselves Christians are the worst of the worst in society. They'll tell you, they'll give you a business card with a little fish on it. And they'll be like, I'm not like these other people, man. I do what I say I'm going to do. I show up when I say I'm going to show up. I've had contractors, so many, I can't even count them, say that they were, and I've got all these cards in my desk with all these fish on them, you know, the worst. The best contractors are the ones who don't even proclaim anything. At least they didn't let me know they were a Christian. First time I caught you live, brother. Hey, what's up, William? Thank you. You're the only based mofo on here. Thank you, man. I could talk to you for hours. Hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for that super chat. Let's get back to this guy right here. But don't you guys feel the same way about Christianity? I mean, all you have to do is take a cursory look at the Bible, and it is clear. It makes it's crystal clear that prior to conversion, you are, what does it say? All have sinned and fall short of the glory. You are a sinner. You are destined from hell. You are no better than a PDF file. You're going to go exactly where the PDF files go, in the round file. And it's super hot in there. But as soon as you get converted, all old things are gone. Behold, all things have become new. You are born. Literally, they say born again. There's certain terminology that is unmistakable, and it applies to Christians. And yet, I don't see I see full churches. I don't see real converts. If you're like that, if that matches your experience, put a 1 in the room. Let's get back to this guy who's dropping the F-bombs.
Supported Germany Nazi Party and all that Nazi shit propaganda, racist
God.
shit he spreads on X. He's a fucking Nazi.
Wow.
And I hope Tesla burns to the fucking ground along with Starlink and fucking X. And I shouldn't be talking like this as a Christian man.
I don't believe this guy is a Christian man. I just don't believe it. And for all I know, what network is this on? Oh, this is just this guy's name is Dixon White. This is his own YouTube channel, 148,000 views 3 days ago. Holy cow. I don't believe this guy's a Christian.
But fuck them, man. They're a bunch of fucking fakes.
Maybe he's doing it for clicks. And if he is, then he's willing to demoralize himself. And I'm talking from the perspective, I'm not saying if you say the F word, you're demoralized. I'm talking about from the Christian perspective. You know, you don't let foul things come out of your mouth. And if there was a foul word, if there was such a thing, and I'm not even subscribing to this right here. I'm not subscribing to the idea that there are foul words. Of course, there are words that you're not going to use at a funeral or a wedding, right? I think we all know that. If there was such a thing as a foul word, I would say the F-bomb was it. And I would say that Christians don't use it. They don't engage in certain conversations. They don't engage in certain activities. They don't do the things that the heathen do. At least that's what the Bible says. They don't bow down to the false god. So if it is true that this guy is a Christian, then he's willing to throw his Christianity out the window so that he can get clicks and views on his YouTube channel. Let's see if this is actually his YouTube channel. Dixon White. 4 different people in Texas that's leaving MAGA. No way this could be satire, y'all. Yeah, this is his YouTube channel. This guy's a charlatan. I have no respect for somebody who calls themselves a Christian, but they're willing to set their Christianity aside or put it on the chopping block so they can get clicks and views by dropping the F-bomb.
That's just destroying our goddamn democracy.
God, he just said goddamn now. Wow. I'll tell you what, when I was a Christian, that's something it's like, you remember Arthur Fonzarelli from Happy Days? There was this certain word that phrase that he wouldn't say. Does anybody remember it? I'll watch the chat for about 20 seconds. What was that thing that Fonzie could not say? Do you remember? And then I'll try to make my point, but I'll give you guys a chance to answer. See if you guys are 70s and 80s kids. There was a certain thing that Fonzie absolutely would not say on Happy Days. What was it? Yep, there you go. Alpha Wolf got it. Sorry. Fonzie could not say, I'm sorry. When I was a Christian, I couldn't say. It didn't even come up in my mind to say the F word. Didn't even come up in my mind to take the Lord's name in vain. I thought goddamn was taking the Lord's name in vain. Even today, I don't use F or GD. I just don't say it. It's just not, it's not in me. And I don't know, maybe part of it's because I'm a contrarian. So maybe I do it for contrarian's sake. I don't know exactly why I don't cuss. There was a couple times I've done a live stream where I'm so mad that I said, oh my God, I can't even believe that I lost myself there for a second. But I don't have the standard of if somebody cusses and says the F word or the GD that they're bad. But hey, I'm going to hold Christians to their standard. I know what the Christian standard is. Well, Brian, nobody's perfect. No, but you are changed. You are fundamentally so changed according to the Bible that you are called a born again believer. I am the way, truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through me, Jesus said. And greater is he who's in you than he who's in the world. If that greater being, which is God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus the Son, is in you, working this majestic power within this earthly vessel, there's going to be a change. And there's certain things that you will not say. Does that mean you're not going to be perfect? No, it's not that. But you're not going to be putting out a video like this, making some buku bucks, 148,000 views. I don't know if he's got to be monetized by now with 64,000 subscribers. But this guy literally put his Christianity on the chopping block so he can drop some F-bombs and show you how awake he is now. He used to be Team MAGA, but now Trump is stabbing him in the back. God, you should have known it from the get-go that Trump is just like Kamala Harris. Just like his pal, Hillary Clinton, who he not only didn't put in jail, but he went out of his way to protect. He said that during a stage performance. Donald Trump said, I know people don't understand this, but I went out of my way to protect Hillary Clinton because it would look really bad if a former first lady was sitting in jail somewhere. No, it wouldn't look really bad. It would actually look good on you and show that you were actually serious about enacting justice on American soil like all presidents say they would. But now you've convinced us that you're no different than them. If you were president, she'd be in jail. You're a freaking liar, Trump. Just like Kamala's a liar.
Destroying our Constitution, going against the courts, going against the laws. And the only people they care about is themselves. They ain't never cared about Christianity. I don't think they care about nothing.
The more the reason we're watching this guy is he is supposedly, I don't even believe one word that comes out of his mouth now. He's supposedly a former MAGA loyalist, and now he feels like he got stabbed in the back by MAGA. And now what is he? Is he a Democrat now? It's ridiculous. So now we have the Counterfeit News Network talking about this lady who, it says, MAGA voter sends message to Trump in CNN interview. Remember, this is the Counterfeit News Network, so take it with a mountain of salt.
Out from the cuts by Elon Musk and his Doge team, President Trump got more than 70% of the vote in Wood County, West Virginia last November. But some people who find their federal jobs in limbo now say they regret supporting him. Randy Kay has more.
This flag used to hang there. This was the flag Jennifer Piggott proudly hung outside her home during.
She used to hang this flag outside of her home. That pretty much tells you, I mean, guys, I have less and less sympathy for those who gravitate toward this kind of stuff. This pretty much tells you everything you need to know about them because we live in 2025. We have easy access to the internet. I mean, my gosh, I can pull up my little thin phone that has the libraries of the world on it. And if I had any kind of question, I could ask some AI somewhere and then do some cross-referencing to figure out just how corrupt the political process is. And yet you're going to still have a flag with the name of a political parasite on it, thinking that he's going to be your savior and lighten your load?
Campaign 2024. We had the flag. I had the shirt. I was a MAGA junkie. A MAGA junkie who thought her government job would be safe with Donald Trump in office.
I was a MAGA junkie. You might as well just say I was a Jim Jones Kool-Aid drinker. Man, I was in Guyana. I was putting that Kool-Aid to my lips, man. A MAGA junkie is no different from a pro Joe Biden, pro Kamala Harris junkie. No difference at all.
She was wrong.
I cried. It's scary, it's a really scary thing. And
Holy crap.
I was embarrassed.
He's a good boy.
Pigott was abruptly fired last month from the Treasury Department's Bureau of Fiscal Service, based here in Parkersburg, West Virginia. The reason given for the firings of 125 probationary employees at the Bureau? Poor performance.
I had my last review on the 31st of January, and I had the highest rating that you can get on a review, less than 21 days before I was terminated for my performance.
You voted for Donald Trump.
I did.
Do you regret that vote?
Yes, I do. To cut the knees out of the working class Americans just doesn't make sense to me. I expected more from President Donald Trump.
Since speaking out, Pigott says she's received death threats and her home has been egged. This woman asked us not to show her face for fear of retribution. She recently retired from the Bureau of Fiscal Service because she was afraid of losing her health insurance if she was fired. She also voted for Trump.
Would you still have supported him?
I'm not sure that I would have. The way that it's been done, I'm for balancing the budget, that type of thing, but not in this.
Oh, I totally agree. Greg May says this is a propaganda hit piece for sure. No doubt, man. No doubt. Because when you have propaganda and you have deception and you have psychological operations, one of the best ways to shore up any kind of loose holes that might be in that propaganda is to have multiple propaganda campaigns running at the same time. So you can get people who might fall through the cracks. Yeah, no doubt. This is definitely a propaganda campaign. And on the other side of it, I have no doubt that there are MAGA people who are currently not MAGA people. And just like there were people who were pro-Democrat, like dyed-in-the-wool Democrat, like people like Candace Owens. So, but the problem is you go out of the frying pan into the fire. If you're a Democrat, you go out of the frying pan from the Democrats to the fire of the Republicans. Again, you got to understand, if you're a Republican or a Democrat, you're basically saying that you're a constituent of the RNC or DNC. The RNC is a corporate entity. The DNC is a corporate entity. It's the corporations who are in control, not the presidents. The presidents are just the figurehead puppets that are going to operate as the CEO of the corporation known as the United States of America. As a matter of fact, Title 28, Section 3002, 15A says the United States means federal corporation. So it is a corporate entity, and it's the corporate power structure that needs the slaves on the plantation to stay pacified with the WWE dog and pony show. Just like Voltaire said, give them bread and circuses and they shall never revolt. Well, you're not going to revolt as long as you think you have your hand on the levers of power and you can control who's going to be the president of the United States. As long as you just have that little sucky pacifier, you're good. And most people are good who resonate on that low, shallow plane of humanity. But when you rise above it, and I'm not saying I'm above anybody here by saying this, okay? So please don't misconstrue this. But you have to admit that when you're voting for psychopathic, corrupt political parasites who are run and operated by the special interest and the 12,000 lobbyists that control Washington's District of Criminals, and you can look this up. Just do a Google search, guys. And I tell people this all the time. Maybe I should say it on every live stream. Just do a Google search. How many lobbyists are in Washington, D.C.? It will tell you 12,000 lobbyists. That means there's 23 times more lobbyists than there are congressmen and senators in Washington, D.C. So who really runs the show? The 535 who say they're your representatives, or the 12,000 lobbyists who sweeten the deal for the people who claim to be representatives so that they can write the policies and the regulations that help their corporate donors? Why is it that billionaires invest so much money into political candidates? Is it because they want nothing in return? Is it just because, I believe so much in democracy, I'm going to give Kamala Harris about $2 or $3 million? They want something back from that. They create political action committees and conferences so that they can accumulate more wealth, so that they can win more elections, so that they can keep the dog and pony show going. But nothing ever changes, Israel will still get their 3.8 billion every year, plus some on the top. Before Biden left, how many he gave Israel 12 billion. We're not even just a little over 60 days into the new Trump presidency. He's already given 10 to 15 billion to Israel. And people are objecting to this money that, and rightly so, objecting to the money going to Ukraine. You got to sit there and ask yourself, what the hell is going on? And people are constantly going, Brian, what's your solution? You're always bitching about stuff. Well, can we first we have to get to first base. And first base is, yeah, you're right. Trump and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden and Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Jeffrey Epstein, they all work together with the Mossad and the CIA against the American people. Okay, so now we have a clear dividing line. Politics is crap. It's garbage. It never was anything good. It's the clever and deceptive art of using euphemisms, lies, emotionalism, and fear-mongering in order to deceive average people like you and me into accepting and even demanding the chains of our own enslavement, but they want you to demand it. And it seems right. It seems good. It seems like they have good intentions, but good intentions will always be pleaded for every assumption of power. It's hardly too strong to say that the Constitution was made to stop these evil people, but these people want power. They claim to be good masters, but make no mistake, they want to be your masters. They want to control you. They want to rule you. They want to make the rules that you have to follow while they claim official immunity. And on the law enforcement side of it, qualified immunity. You don't get qualified immunity. You can't commit a crime in broad daylight on camera. They can. What do you think would happen if you were Dennis Hastert? Dennis Hastert was the Speaker of the House for 8 freaking years as a Republican. Come to find out, Dennis Hastert was, in the words of a federal judge, a serial child molester. And he only goes to prison, if you want to call it that, for 16 months. Serial child molester was a Speaker of the House, which means he was second in line in case Bush died, in case the vice president died. That's Mr. Halliburton himself died. Then Dennis Hastert would have become the president of the United States. Come to find out later, the president of the United States was a serial child molester. That's Dennis Hastert. That's how far up the political food chain all this evil, parasitic, perverted nonsense goes. So when people ask me, well, what's your solution? Well, any solution would be better than that. But my solution, it's the free market. I'm not for open borders or closed borders. I'm for market borders. And the market will determine whether there's a border or not. And guess who's going to enforce that? It's not going to be the government. Do you realize that if you ask the government to do anything for you, even if it's a good thing, you're asking the government to steal on your behalf so you can get that good thing? That's what government is. Government is force. It's violence. It's coercion. It's theft. It's evil. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week evil. It's 1,440 minutes a day evil. It's 86,400 seconds a day evil. You can't even get more evil than politics and politicians. So when people sit there and ask me, what's your solution? You're always bitching about the problem while they're actually supporting the evil. You got a problem with me because I don't come up with an immediate solution for every single one of society's ills? Does this mean when we disband the federal government that things are going to be peachy keen or we're going to be living in heaven? No, but things will be better. Because don't you think life will be better without the IRS holding a club over your head? You better pay. Oh God, if you don't pay, you're going to jail. You know, we're going to liquidate all your assets. We're going to freeze your bank accounts. You're dead. You're gone. Don't you think we'd be a little bit better without that monkey on our backs? Don't you think we'd be a little bit more prosperous as a society? Don't you think if we got rid of the Federal Reserve and instituted a sound money system, and I don't know how it would work exactly, because there's so many of these floating around to the amount of gold that we've gotten out of the ground, that it's going to be difficult to make that pivot. But the pivot has to be made because the crash is coming and it's going to be so astronomical. It's going to make the Weimar Republic look like a Smokey the Bear picnic. And I'm not talking about with fire going in the background. I'm talking about a pleasant Smokey the Bear picnic. Hey, boo-boo, it looks like we got something serious going on here. Looks like we got some hyperinflation. Looks like the children are in the street playing with all this funny money, pasting it to the walls. It's what's going to happen. And then they're going to pivot. And then they're going to have their answer because we live in the Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. They created the problem. Oh, hyperinflation. Bread costs $225 million a loaf. Oh, it just changed. Now it's $230 million a loaf. Better get your bread and bring your wheelbarrows right now while supplies last. I mean, we got some serious problems coming, and you're looking at me. Yeah, we better pivot to alternative ways of doing business. Maybe get back to a barter system. Maybe start growing gardens. Maybe start talking to your neighbors. Maybe start formulating some plan where you've got like a neighborhood security instead of neighborhood watch, and you guys do target practice every weekend so that when somebody comes to invade your community, you can take care of them in short order. You got your communications ready. Maybe we should detach from certain electronics so that the technocrats don't have total control over us. At least try to mitigate it and minimize it some way. I don't have all the answers, but I know that none of us is greater than all of us. And the answer is not to continue doing what we've been doing, expecting a different result. That would be crazy and insane and off the charts, bizarre.
Context. It's just not right.
Earlier this month, a federal judge ordered half a dozen federal agencies to immediately offer thousands of probationary employees their jobs back. But this week, the Trump administration asked the Supreme Court to put...
Look at the handler in the background. Always lurking somewhere, isn't he? Mr. Articulate, Elon Musk is always there. Man, people love this guy. These are the most evil people in the world. How can the most evil people in the world garner the love of so many? It's just, I got to chalk it up to cluelessness.
That judge's ruling on hold and stop those employees from returning to work. Eric Engel is a representative for the National Treasury Employees Union.
They are fully reinstated, all 125 of them. They are on paid admin leave.
Now they're getting paid for not doing their job. So did the government really save any money here?
If that's true, that is crazy. Okay, so all these government work, and personally, I think that a government worker being paid to do nothing is better than a government worker, for example, an IRS agent being paid to extort the rest of us. I'd rather them do nothing. Like, I'm not saying that it's good that they're extorting us and paying, people who are basically the most corrupt among us. But I am saying that if you're going to pay them and they're going to do nothing, I would rather that the government do nothing. As long as the government does nothing, I'm a little bit safer, but you can't, it's kind of an oxymoron because you can't say they're doing nothing as long as they're extorting you to pay that guy to do nothing. So somebody's being harmed in the process because that's not how the free market works. The free market does not reward people who do nothing. The free market does not reward those who harm the producers of society. That only works in a statist government realm. It's unbelievable that this is so elementary that you have to explain it to people. But that is bizarre that, okay, we fired these government employees, but we're still paying them. Elon Musk says so many half-truths, like the Social Security thing about we found 20 million people who are dead, who were found alive on the Social Security rolls. But then the next question is, are those 20 million people getting paid? Because he doesn't say that, but he kind of implies it. So there's this dishonesty that's always lurking around. But if this is true, that they've been fired from these federal jobs, which makes it look like, hey, we freed up all this money. We found waste, fraud, and abuse, but they're still getting paid for doing nothing. Wow, that's a horse of a different color.
At all. No. That's not, I personally don't believe that was ever the point, but they're not saving any money from these probationary and trial period employee firings. This has nothing to do with eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse.
The Bureau of Fiscal Service employs more than
God, what a psyop, man. You got the Counterfeit News Network, who is against Trump, who is against the American people, period. And yet they're trying to identify the strange things going on in the Trump administration with regard to Doge and rooting out the waste, fraud, and abuse. So let's get back to this right here. This guy, I'm tired of this guy. There was a fight that broke out. Steve Harola. Hey, what's up, man? Easy to fool the masses, nearly impossible to convince them that they've been fooled. I share your videos on my live streams all the time. Thanks, Steve. I thank you so much for that super chat, and I appreciate you. Let's see. Let's go to, there was another couple interactions that Adam had here that I thought was interesting. Let's see. Is it this guy? I don't think it's this guy. I think it may have been this lady. Let's see.
They don't really care about us. Support the 95%. Resist. What brings you out here today?
Watching our rights being stripped away, watching the checks and balances for our president, who is supposed to speak for us, not himself. That's why I'm out here today.
What rights have you lost under Donald Trump?
Well, let's see.
That's a good question. Let me ask you guys, if Adam Francisco, which is who we're watching right here, if he came up to you and said, what rights have you lost under Donald Trump, what would you say?
He's closing down the women and the African American at the Smithsonian. That was this morning. We are losing all equality rights, right? It's all about the white man.
What's an equality right you've lost?
Well, I personally haven't lost any. It's going to be my daughters that do.
What rights did they lose?
Well, they're not recognized anymore.
I think they're actually more recognized by Donald Trump.
You really do?
He did the executive order.
What would you say?
That's so ridiculous, guys. You don't have to look any further on most of these questions. You don't have to look any further than this. How much of your adult life have you spent to earn money so that you can feed yourself, clothe yourself, put a roof over your head? It really all comes down to this. And back in 1913, the Congress, which is supposed to represent the American people, royally screwed over the American people by giving the monetary system, the entire thing, which is basically the keys to any kingdom. You basically gave the engine of the Corvette or the Lamborghini over to somebody else, and all you were left with was the shell. Other people have the powerhouse and the engine, and it just so happens to be private Zio international bankers who are part of a cartel that controls the issuance and the value of every piece of currency floating out of the American treasury. Every one of the issuance and the value, which means they control your labor and they control your time. Two of the most precious things that you've got that once you spend them, you can't get it back. And they control it. So when you ask me what this political puppet has done to take away my rights, well, you're taking away my freedom every day by creating policies that diminish the value of the dollars that I earn to feed my family. Biden did it. Obama did it. Trump really did it. I mean, he accelerated. Trump was the hold my beer guy. In 2016 to 2020, he jacked up the national debt faster than Obama did. He got us $8.4 trillion in debt in 4 years, and it took Obama 8 years to do $9 trillion. And that $8.4 trillion doesn't even count the CARES Act of $6.2 trillion. And it doesn't count the backstop, the $4 trillion backstop that was installed by the Federal Reserve, who he dangles from the strings of because they're the puppet masters and he's the puppet. So really about $12.4 trillion was racked up in national debt under the Trump administration. And that is what decimated the value of the dollar. And that's why people the prices went through the roof in the first couple of years and all throughout the presidency of Joe Biden. They blamed it on Joe Biden, but it was really puppet Trump who did it. Now prices are coming down. And that's just the residual of the policies that the Federal Reserve instituted under puppet Biden. But the people who control the rise and fall of the value of the dollar are not the puppets. It's the puppet masters. You think Trump controls the value of the dollar? He can make it swing up or down through the policies that the Fed tells him to do. But if you doubt that the Federal Reserve is in control, then you need to look at that video from Alan Greenspan, who's the chairman of the Fed, who's asked, what should the relationship between the chairman of the Federal Reserve and the president of the United States be? And he basically said, and I'm just paraphrasing, but this is what he said. It doesn't matter what any branch of the government says, judicial, legislative or executive, as long as they don't conflict with the Federal Reserve said, it doesn't matter what the relationship is. In other words, we're in control. You don't question what we do. Does that mean that the Congress isn't going to drag a Ben Bernanke or a Jerome Powell or a Janet Yellen into a dog and pony show congressional hearing to browbeat them? No, that's all part of the show. The Federal Reserve knows that this is vital. It's vital that the American people see that Congress has the guts to bring a Federal Reserve chairman into a congressional hearing, and nothing's going to happen. But it still pacifies the masses. Remember when Grayson, he was a senator or congressman, was it Alan Grayson? I can't remember. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. But Grayson unearthed the fact that the chairman of the Federal Reserve, then Ben Bernanke, could not tell you where $2 trillion in off-the-book spending went from the Federal Reserve. And another chick revealed that there was $9 trillion that the Federal Reserve accountants couldn't account for. Unbelievable. And by the way, we didn't even talk about this earlier. If you were to take $1 million and put it to time and seconds, 11 million seconds is 11 days. 1 billion seconds is 31 and a half years. 1 trillion seconds is 31.5 thousand years. 31,000 years. That's how much a trillion is. And even though they drugged these accountants and Federal Reserve chairmen before these House Judiciary Committee and Oversight Committee and all that, and they revealed these truths, nothing was done about the massive money laundering theft that happened under the nose of the Federal Reserve. Nothing was done. And yet, if you transfer $600 from one account to another, the IRS is going to be all over you, but they don't care about $9 trillion missing from the books of the Federal Reserve. And nobody's going to ask any more questions. And after that hearing is over, you don't hear another word about it. And Donald Rumsfeld could get up one day before 9/11 happens and says, well, looks like the Pentagon can't account for $2.3 trillion. Looks like we got caught in our anchor chain. And then 9/11 happens and nobody talks about it ever again. Nothing substantial is ever done. And then business goes on as usual, like it never happened. Holy cow. If you robbed a bank and only nabbed $5,000, they're going to pursue you until you're brought to heel. And if it takes the rest of their life to do it, you're going to be on the FBI's most wanted list. But somehow the Pentagon can get away with wasting or misplacing $2.3 trillion. Unstinking believable. Unstinking believable. Let's get back to this.
Would you say that he was more recognized when he was going through court or when he was partying with Epstein? Or when he was grabbing people's I'm sorry, how do you think he recognizes my daughter as a piece of frickin' meat?
Well, it's all been debunked.
No, it isn't debunked.
It's all been debunked.
That is fake news.
Yeah, it's all been debunked.
Really?
It's been debunked. What he said on the Access Hollywood bunk, Trump, Hollywood bunk. What Trump said on the Access Hollywood bus has been debunked. That he was friends with Epstein has been debunked. That Donald Trump appeared multiple times on the Lolita Express flight logs has been debunked. Oh yeah, he's a terrific guy. Donald Trump says about Jeffrey Epstein has been debunked. Guys, I'm telling you, the perversion and evil going on is insurmountable. I can't even tell you how ridiculous this is. And I can't even express to you how clueless all these people are.
The court case, you can look that up, my friend.
But anyway,
That's not debunked.
Trump has put
don't change the subject.
He's put up protections for
no,
women.
don't change the subject.
We're sticking
Tell
on
me
women.
how it's been debunked.
We're talking about women
how
right now.
How has it been debunked? Because you can't tell me because it's a lie. Okay.
You know, in this country, you got to go through a trial.
Okay.
You got to be guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. He was never found guilty of anything.
Point, I think that you have to be fair on both sides.
I am being fair.
Really? Let's talk about Hillary's emails or Hunter Biden's laptop. But it's okay to risk our American men's and women's lives by frickin' releasing private war data.
I feel like chat's not working here. It looks like it's getting stuck or something. Let me see what's going on here. Let me know if you guys can see. Let me type something in the chat here. Can you see this? It got stuck on my StreamYard for some reason. Yeah, StreamYard is geeking out. I can see it on YouTube. Yep, check. You guys are saying check on YouTube, but StreamYard is stuck. That is weird. It's almost like it got hacked by, it says Adrian Kanzevic is the last one that appears on this. And I don't want to refresh my StreamYard because if I do that, it's going to probably go away. So that's really weird. So if I miss super chats, I apologize, guys. Let's see. Yeah, it's not refreshing for some reason. It's stuck way back there. All right, we'll finish out this lady, and then we're going to go to this Angela chick.
2 hours prior to a strike, and it's just a slap on the wrist. That's okay. Are you freaking kidding
Well,
me?
Trump's closing the border to keep women safer at night.
Oh my God! It
Walking the
wasn't a freaking immigrant that raped me.
What about Lincoln Riley, the young girl that was killed?
They always use this is the low hanging fruit. Lincoln Riley. What about the Federal Reserve? What about dishonest money scheme? What about the IRS? What about property taxes? What about income tax? What about the military industrial complex getting a raise? What about the Zio International Banking Cartel? What about the fact that Trump is owned by Israel and AIPAC? What about that? Can't we talk about that? And this goes for Kamala Harris too. Same exact thing. All those things can apply. What about I like take the guns first, due process second? What about Donald Trump's going to bat for red flag gun confiscation laws? What about Tulsi Gabbard approving bump stock bans, just like Donald Trump did, and high capacity magazine bans, and AR-15, AK-47 assault weapons bans? What about that? Oh, that's right. Kamala Harris is for that too. Oh, Joe Biden is for that too. The very thing that undergirds the fabric of American society, the Second Amendment, Donald Trump is against, Harris is against, Biden is against, Barack Obama is against. Every Democrat is against. Every Republican, except for maybe Justin Amash and, I don't know, maybe just Justin Amash is against the Second Amendment.
Did you say I was going to get deported any day?
Hyper Spiky, thank you very much for that. Let's see. Let me go to the very end of his video, because I really do want to talk about this.
Still is, and was trained by communists to control idiots.
Wait a second. Let's go to. Here we go.
Fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK. No fascist USA. No Trump. No.
Nobody. It's like, this is crazy that somebody would do this. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody. You're literally speaking into the wind. Nobody cares about your sign. I knew one day I'd have to watch powerful men burn the world down. I just didn't expect them to be such losers. When in the history of American politics has that not happened? When in the history of politics have powerful men not controlled presidents of the United States? JFK was controlled. Carter was controlled. Ford was controlled. Reagan was controlled. Clinton was controlled. I mean, just go down the line. They were controlled. Lincoln was controlled, for goodness sake. Lincoln didn't care about freeing the slaves. He just wanted to keep the Union together. Why did he want to keep the Union together? Who was bankrolling Lincoln?
KKK. No fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK. No KKK. No fascist USA. No Trump. No KKK. No Trump. No fascist USA.
Fascist USA.
As that's going to wrap it up here at the Tesla protest. Remember, I ran a 5K this morning, and I need to get home. I need to.
Okay, so this is the end of Adam Francisco. So basically, Adam Francisco is a Kool-Aid drinker mocking Democrat Kool-Aid drinkers. Now, here's another one right here. I'm going to show you the end of this video, and then we're going to go to the beginning of it, because she is no different. She's a rightist. So she is a pro-MAGA red Kool-Aid drinker, just like who's somebody that would be on her level on the Democrat side? Adam Mockler, Luke Beasley, all supported by Midas Touch or the Dave Pakman Show. So we have this rightist propagandist who's mocking leftists and leftist propagandists when literally, guys, they're all in the same political parasitic tent, clapping like seals for the clown who they believe can juggle better than the other clown. And here's how she ended her video. And then we're going to go through some substance in her video.
Honestly, after talking to all of those liberals, it seems like no one is going to change their mind. And because of that, it doesn't really even make sense to have a conversation, because then their anger is just going to rub off on me. And that's not what I want, because I'm happy. We're excited. We are so happy that Trump is president. They're doing a great job, and they just unfortunately believe all of the lies. But we know that Trump is a patriot. So is Elon, and they want the best for our nation. Please make sure that you're subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you next time.
If there was a Kool-Aid drinker, what would they sound like? If there was somebody in the cult of personality, what would they look like? Maybe they would have a Donald Trump hat that says Trump was right about everything. That's what this guy's hat says. I just want to remind you, in case you're new,
outside
look
of
at
the
this.
Tesla dealership.
He even says it. He even says
it looks like the protesters are already here. And I got on the Trump was right about everything hat because
he's got a hat on that says Trump was right about everything. So if there was a cult of personality and there were cultists in the cult of personality and they were actually drinking the Kool-Aid, what would it look like? Would it look like this? Would it sound like this right here, where she criticized other people? They won't make any change, but hey, Donald Trump and Elon Musk are patriots, she says. And again, this isn't me mocking just to mock, because I don't think that makes America better. But when you call out the hypocrisy of the right as they engage in the same political psychopathic nonsense as the Kool-Aid drinkers on the left, you got to call it out. Truth is extreme. And to make it moderate is to lie. To put it on the right side is to lie. To put it on the left side is to lie. To just cut to the chase and call out the BS everywhere is the only thing in accordance with the truth. And it's the only thing that's worth doing. Now, I thought some of these interactions that she had were interesting. Here's what she says in the car before she goes out to the Elon Musk anti-Tesla protesters.
Will love for men to be able to use the women.
And I'm sorry, guys, I've got to listen to this in 1.25 speed. I mean, most of my videos I listen to between 1.5 speed and 1.75 speed because I ain't got time for the nonsense. And isn't it interesting? I don't put a 1 in the room if you guys do this. When you listen to things so long at 1.75 speed and then you listen to it in regular, you're like looking at your watch going, it almost sharpens your mind. It's like, oh, you can gather the information real quick and you can store it real quick and you can formulate opinions. But then when you slow it down, it's like, dude, I ain't got all day for this nonsense. Thank God for this changing speed function on YouTube is like a godsend. Holy cow. And there's another cool function. I can take a real quick segue. I think I can add value to your life if you just give me 2 minutes. Are you guys willing to do that? I've got another function that I can show you on YouTube real quick. On if you're looking at a 3-hour video or a 30-minute video or a 3-minute video, you can go right to the thing that you want without watching the entire video, just by honing in on and finding the exact keyword. As long as you know the keyword that they said, like, let's say she says Tesla, and I want to find every occurrence of Tesla, or let's say they say oligarch or something like that. You can go right to it. You want me to show you how? Put a 1 in the room if you want me to. There's 954 people total in here. I don't know how many people are watching on. I want to add value to your life. And if I can do it in some small way, I want to do that. Let me see. What are you guys saying here? I can't see it on. Okay, let me show you this. Okay, under every single YouTube video, you go to the description section. And right here, I can't expand this because then that'll take that away. Let's see if I do this. Yeah, I can't do that. Oh, wait, maybe I can. That won't work. All right. Under every single YouTube video, you go to the description section, you click on more. At the very bottom of the description, no matter how long the description is, it's going to be near the bottom, say show transcript. And now on the right side of the screen, let me put this up for you. On the right side of the screen, you'll have every word that they say, or about every word that they say within the video. Now, if you want to find the exact, you have to know the keyword. But if you know the exact word, then on Mac, it's Command F. On PC, it's Control F. So I'm hitting Control F right now. Oh, can I not do that while I'm live streaming? Oh, man, let's see. Control F. Yeah, it doesn't do it while I'm live streaming. Bummer. So you go Control F. It brings up a dialog box, or it should. Doggone it. It doesn't work while you're live streaming. Shoot. Huh. Why is that? Control F. Oh, there it is. Okay, there you go. See at the bottom of the screen here? Let's say she says Elon Musk. I'm just going to put in Musk, M-U-S-K. So now look at the transcript. It shows Musk right here. And now there's these toggle switches over here in the lower left hand of the screen right here. Toggle switches. If you go down, it's going to go to the very next occurrence of Musk. So that's it. This is at the 5:59 mark. And the next one's going to happen at the 15:18 mark right here. Predict whether Musk has said that. Clicking down again. Now what it'll do is it'll jump outside of your transcript box and go to the very next occurrence, which right here is in the YouTube recommended. But for example, I went to Joe Rogan and he had this 3-hour podcast with Elon Musk, and I wanted to find the place where he said carbon tax. So I went to that video, which is 3 hours long, went to transcript, did Control F, and I was looking for carbon. So I put carbon and all the occurrences of carbon. That allowed me to sift through an entire 3-hour video in less than 30 seconds. So hopefully that'll help you. Can you do it on your phone? I don't think so. If you can, somebody let me know, because I would like to know that too. But I did a video on this just to show you how to do it as like a 2-minute video to take people through this. So hopefully that'll help you. Let me collapse the transcript here. Just click X right there. And so let's hear what she says. If that helped you, put a 1 in the room. I appreciate it. Tips are accepted. No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to tip me.
Pass out bumper stickers that say RIP to all of Elon's companies and basically to our country. They have everything organized. So somebody bought pizza, they had markers and signs. You can make your own, but why would you make your own if they have a bunch of them already ready for you to use and grab? Every time a Tesla pulls up to the stoplight, they're like, oh, look at that one. That's a company car. Looking bad at people for
She loves to play. God, this is people's bread and butter, guys. You got to understand that in the realm of con Inc. and political parasitic psychopathy, you have the people on the right, like Adam Mockler and Luke Beasley, just trying to capitalize and dig on the right. And then on the right, you have the Candace Owens of the world, the Andrew Tates, the Hodge twins, Ben Shapiro, who Daily Wire is crashing and burning to the ground. So you have them pitting themselves against each other. And that gets a lot of views because you got to have controversy. It's the controversy that brings the views. But then when they come to the YouTube channel, and they will get this chick right here has 186,000 subscribers. She just launched this video a couple days ago, already has 500,000 views. You can see this right here. It already has 500,000 views for 196,000 subscribers because people love the controversy. They love to hear Republicans dig on Democrats. The Democrats love to hear the fellow Democrats dig on Republicans and tell how bad they are and how perverted they are and how much they hate justice and how much they hate Trump. It's pretty disgusting and surreal.
Car choice that they made. That is just so ridiculous to me that you're going to stand at a stoplight and then complain about what other people are driving. When have we ever done that to any other car brand before? Why would we do that to a Tesla car? And so
Republicans did that for Bud Light, you remember, and for Starbucks. They were standing on corners and they were boycotting. Republicans do it to Democrats. Democrats do it to Republicans all the time for different products and services.
So I really do agree with my sign that we should fire useless government employees. Doesn't make sense that Democrats, I was going to put fire Democrats, but I thought that that was a little bit too obvious. And they're planning a big protest next weekend. One of the ladies was like, if AOC can get this many people, I'm sure we'll be able to get a lot too. So they're like really trying hard to make it seem like there's a lot of them. I got a message to all of the people who hate government efficiency. America loves it, okay? And
So shallow. This poor girl actually thinks that Elon Musk is in her corner, that Donald Trump is in her corner. And that's like saying, I believe Barack Obama's in my corner. I believe the guy who wanted hope and change is in my corner. I mean, that's why they call it, George Carlin said it. That's why they call it the American dream, because you got to be asleep to believe it. And she's believing so many freaking lies, just like the Democrats.
now that I am more comfortable, I'm a little bit more out of my comfort zone after that, I'm going to be able to mess with these protesters even harder. So let's go to the next location.
And that's what she wants to do. She just wants to mess with protesters. I don't want to compare. It's not good to compare, but I will tell you this. In my heart of hearts, when I go out there and I'm talking to people, like on my, you can see it's on the very first video that plays on, when I was out there at the March Against Our Lives protest, which they called March for Our Lives. March Against Our Rights is what it really should have been called. I wanted to plant seeds of freedom. I didn't want to just get these people. I did want to find out what they were saying. And what they were saying was somewhat humorous, but I wasn't out there to get them. These are my fellow Americans. And I think it's sad and I think it's pitiful that anybody would just go out there just to get them. I'm just going to go troll them. For what end? You know, the dollar's going to crash. People are going to be hurting. There's going to be hungry people. There's going to be hungry, desperate people all over the place who will do anything to get food in their stomachs. And we're going to sit there and troll people. People won't forget that. I remember you. Yeah, I was all solidified in my deceit, but you were just sticking my face in it. Now, the reason I exposed the Adam Franciscos of the world and what's her name? And the Angela Roses of the world and the Andrew Tates of the world and all these people out here who are playing the left versus right pivot and game show. The reason I talk about them and expose them is because they got to see their own hypocrisy. This is by no means mockery. Yeah, there is some stuff that's funny and I find it ironic and maybe, I don't know. I struggle to say hilarious because it's not hilarious to me, really, that somebody's going to wear a Donald Trump was right about everything hat and believe that Elon Musk, the biggest welfare queen on American soil, is actually out here for our benefit. It's not funny. It's tragic. It's tragic.
Truck just went by them and sprayed a bunch of gas at these people.
They took Tim Walz's
That's not funny. What?
These protesters even harder. So let's go to the next location.
Wait, what'd she say again?
After that, I'm going to be able to mess with these protesters even harder. So let's go to the next.
I'm going to mess with these protesters even harder. Oh, yeah, that's making America great. Excellent. We're going to be so unified when China marches on American soil.
Location. Some truck just went by them and sprayed a bunch of gas at these people.
That's horrible. That's horrible. If you're spraying gas, which can get in your eyes and really ruin you, and then somebody could come by with a match and ignite you. If that's true, that somebody sprayed gas, I wouldn't be chuckling and giggling like it sounds like she was doing. Somebody's just exercising a right to freedom of speech on American soil, and somebody who disagrees with their message is going to assault them with gas. Wow.
Tim Walz's advice to take off the Tesla logo and put a Honda logo. Is that really necessary? This is how they have to avoid the hate from the Tesla protesters.
That is pretty dumb.
On the corners. Felon?
And Elon.
Oh, what do you hate most about government efficiency?
Oh, I don't want.
Well, first of all, you have to believe that government efficiency is happening, and government efficiency is an oxymoron like military intelligence, tight slacks, and jumbo shrimp.
Government efficiency. I don't like Elon buying votes and Wisconsin Supreme Court votes as well.
I mean, he's saving the country billions of dollars in taxes.
It's not only Musk,
It's the whole administration screwing up this country.
Really?
We're in for a train wreck. You know what a train wreck is? It means you die with it.
It sounds like you don't want the country to do well then.
Oh yeah, we're not going to do well with the administration that we have.
Evil is here. Putin's lover.
I'm trying to find the guy who made it.
Oh, it's not your sign?
I didn't have one today.
Most people who own Teslas, they're Democrats. So how come you're protesting the car company?
I think they're protesting Elon.
So many Democrats own Tesla stock and they own Tesla vehicles. Then why are you protesting Tesla in American car company?
This is perfect because I own Tesla stock for 5 years and I bought it at $65 a share. I loved it. And when Elon started getting loud about taking down our government, even though it's love EVs, I have my fifth EV. Right now, none of them were Teslas. But when he started attacking our government and trying to destroy the agencies within and comes out with a chainsaw, I can no longer support his company, even though it's American. If we want to do it legally, we should trim
Sounds like she's been doing some thinking about this, at least.
all the waste we can.
How are they not doing it legally? Because Obama signed into action what Doge is doing. They just renamed it. But it's okay when Obama does it, but it's not okay when Trump does it.
Agencies that
I mean, that is good that she pointed out that hypocrisy right there.
Congress funded and originated, like the Department of Education, to take it away. That's why 120 lawsuits against Trump and Doge, and they've already lost 50 in court.
So do you think that the Department of Education has done a good job, even though more adults are illiterate than ever before in our country and we're ranked really low?
Discipline gap. I was an educator for 17 years. Absolutely. 17 years of increased testing. Plenty of things we can fix.
Things like grants and lunches are going to different departments. Then why are people freaking out? Because what the Department of Education is just a bunch of administrators who are getting high salaries.
No, they're not. They're just that idea that protects children with disabilities is funded by the Department of Education. IDEA is a national law.
Well, if Democrats love people with who are struggling so much, how come it is that Democrats didn't clap for the young boy with cancer when Trump
Because
sworn him into?
He was being used by the system. I'm also a cancer survivor, and they have
Gotta agree. That little kid with cancer who they adorned with a thin blue line uniform and awarded him like honorary Secret Service status. They were definitely using him. But Democrats use kids too. Democrats use cancer survivors. Democrats use people whose lives have been struck with tragedy. So do Republicans. That's what they do. That's part of the show. So to say that Trump was using the kid, yeah, that was right. That's correct. That's right. And that's low down. If that's all you knew about Trump, that's all you need to know, that he's going to actually go to the depths of evil to exploit a kid for his own political power. But that's nothing different. That's nothing new than the Democrats do. So she's being a hypocrite in that as well. And isn't it great to be outside of all that political influence and not have a dog in the fight? You have no vested interest in promoting any political party 1 centimeter. So you can see and think clearly, at least more clearly than those who are actually in it. While you're drinking the Kool-Aid, you're impervious to truth. You're impervious to facts. You can't see the fact that you are engaged in your own hypocrisy.
cut cancer funding, they prop up a child as if he's their hero. The hypocrisy was his.
Well, how come they
She's talking about hypocrisy.
didn't stand up for anybody else like Lincoln Riley's family who were in the
God.
room?
By then, when we're angry, I wish we would have boycotted the liar in chief's whole speech, is what I would have liked.
Name a president who you couldn't rightly call liar in chief. Just name one. Somebody in the chat. Okay, they're telling me 997, 716 on X. Name one president who couldn't rightly be called liar in chief. Name one. Clinton. Could you not call him liar in chief? Wasn't he a liar? Wasn't Reagan a liar? Remember the Iran-Contra scandal just for one thing? Ford, Carter, McKinley. I mean, name one politician who's not a liar. Name one.
You have a good day.
Why do you believe we should stop government efficiency?
I mean, I would like to ask this lady, this girl right here. What's her name? Angela Rose. Yeah, Angela Rose. I would like to ask her, do you think Trump is not a liar? I mean, the Washington compost pile is right. He lied a lot, but so does Biden. So they're liars. So the Democrats are voting for liars and the Republicans are voting for liars. Guess what? You guys are on the same team because you're voting for Team Lie.
Because it's not efficient. Trump is trying to destroy America. Take it over for the billionaires.
Okay, so you're upset that they're wealthy.
No, I'm upset that he's corrupt.
How do you know that he's corrupt?
He's guilty on 39 charges, felony counts. He's guilty, and I see him lie every day.
Well, I believe that they charged him to keep him out of the presidency.
That's asinine. He's a piece of shit. He is corrupt.
What's your favorite thing about Donald Trump?
You know what? Wouldn't you like to be on the street corner when some of these rightists or leftists? Oh, hey, there's one thing that I forgot to show you. And Adam, let's see, there was this fight right here, and then Adam Francisco got a glimpse of, I probably won't be able to find it because scrubbing through a 38-minute video would be easy to miss. The Liberty on Tap or whatever it was called, Liberty Hangout chick, what's her name? Caitlin Bennett. He ran into Caitlin Bennett. Let's see. Where is it? Let me see.
And she is
Oh yeah. This is it.
Have our say.
Finally, guys, I finally get to meet Caitlin Bennett.
Here it is. Sorry, I had to take this segue. Caitlin Bennett is somebody else who is full throttle for Donald Trump, and she is a freaking libertarian. I've done some criticism videos on her too. Guys, you have to let go of your morality. You have to walk away from principle to vote for a guy like Joe Biden or Kamala Harris, a guy like Kamala Harris, and Donald Trump or Reagan or whoever. You have to walk away from morality and principle. You have to put it on a shelf and go out the door and cast your vote for somebody corrupt like those people. And that's what being a libertarian is basically saying, you know what? I operate on the level of principle. I don't operate on the level of emotion. I don't operate on the level of psychotic political expression. I live on the plane of principle. I will not let go of or walk away from my principles. And you have to do that to vote for corruption. Father, the VAXX, give me a break. The overseer and signer of the biggest power and wealth transfer in the entire world, and Caitlin Bennett, and I mean that entire world. There's never been a $6.2 trillion transfer of wealth with one signature that I know of. Does anybody else know a bigger power and wealth transfer than the kind of money that Trump handed over to the corporate and banking elite and the big pharma elite, which is under the corporate elite umbrella, than the CARES Act? But here's Caitlin Bennett, and she had to walk away from principle just like Adam Francisco had to walk away from principle. And don't you wish that these people would walk up to you and question who you're voting for and what you think about Donald Trump? And then you can say, you literally voted for the father of the VAXX, the guy who single-handedly takes credit for closing down the entire country. We had to do it. We had to close down the entire country or everybody would have died. Here's Caitlin Bennett.
Finally, we get to meet the Caitlin Bennett from Liberty Hangout. I've been wanting to meet her forever. It's an honor to meet you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm Adam Francisco.
Hi. Yes, I recognize you.
Yeah, that's Caitlin Bennett. Yeah. So happy to finally meet her, man. She is she's one of the best content creators in the game. She's my top 5.
I'm aware.
She's my top 5 content creators. God bless Caitlin Bennett. God bless Liberty Hangout. Go subscribe to them.
Caitlin Bennett's got this huge bodyguard.
And I'll tell you guys something else. She's a big inspiration for what I do on the street. She literally started inspiring me 4 years ago when I started.
A person who walked away from principle to vote for one of the most corrupt politicians, you know, they're all one of the most corrupt politicians in the entire world, is a person who inspires me. Think about this, man. Think about the depth. Think about the darkness. Think about the cognitive dissonance that you have to have encased yourself in so that you could come to this point in your life. This is what drives me crazy. This is why this channel doesn't get those views. Because as soon as you say that, people are automatically think you're a Dem, you're a liberal, a libtard. Unbelievable how effective and efficient and powerful incessant propaganda is.
On my YouTube channel, and I was like, man, I like what that girl does. I want to do a little bit of that too. Here we are.
And here we are. So let's get back to Angela Rose. So what this lady should say to Angela Rose is, look me in the eye and tell me you are comfortable with and you're satisfied with the fact that you continue to back the father of the VAXX, the closer of American industry, the one who literally single-handedly with a signature and incessant propaganda closed thousands of businesses and led them into bankruptcy with this Corona shutdown. Tell me you're satisfied with that.
Not one damn thing.
What would she do if she ran into somebody who wasn't sucking off the political teat?
The fact that he is a billionaire, wouldn't that make him pretty intelligent on how to...
No, he got it from his father.
He got it from his
He
dad.
got it from his father, and
Really?
he's gone bankrupt on so many occasions, it's not even funny.
Well, many times...
He got it. He got it from the American tax cattle. It's like you'd be a billionaire too if you knew people in the political realms that wanted something from you and you want something from them. And you don't have to be smart to do it. And it doesn't matter. Elon Musk's intelligence is not up for debate for me. I mean, I don't care if he's stupid or if he's smart. He could be the stupidest guy in the world that they're propagandizing into getting us to believe that he's smart. I don't know how much he knows about rockets. I don't know how much he knows about the economy. I don't know how adept he is at, certain things in life. I really don't know. I don't know the guy, but I do know one thing. He's the biggest welfare recipient America's ever seen. And that doesn't score points in my book, not on the level of liberty and the free market. Because people had to be robbed to give him money. People had to be extorted to give him money. He had to be a part of the biggest corrupt crime spree and crime ring to get that money. That's all I got to know about the guy. And all I got to know about Donald Trump, I just need to know one thing. And this would apply if we're talking about Ronald Reagan. It would apply if we're talking about George W. Bush or H.W. Bush or Barack Obama. All I'd have to know is that back in the 1990s, he got bailed out. Fill in the blank, no matter who you think it is, got bailed out by Rothschilds Inc. under the employee of Rothschilds Inc. called Wilbur Ross. And 25 years later, the guy who got bailed out by Rothschilds Inc. made the employee of Rothschilds Inc. the Commerce Secretary. Wilbur Ross became the Commerce Secretary. Donald Trump appointed him. So that's all I'd have to know about a Barack Obama to know that, hey, I can't be on his side. He's been bought out by the Rothschilds, but somehow it's no big deal. If you're Team MAGA, you can overlook that kind of stuff, which tells me, well, you're drinking the Kool-Aid.
It makes sense to go bankrupt.
Yeah, if you're doing it for a corrupt reason to get out of paying your taxes like he's done.
By the way, you're not committing a crime if you get out of paying your taxes. Nobody pays that. It's like, oh, this is a voluntary thing. Where do I sign? I think I will go ahead and pay them. Nobody pays them. It's like, how much did you pay the thief at the bus stop when he stuck his hands in your pockets and took your wallet? How much did you? I didn't pay him anything. He took my money. That's not called payment. I pay my bills. I pay my car payment. I don't pay the thief. Unbelievable. And you're not a bad person if you try to keep 100% of everything you went out to earn. Let's get right thinking here.
I'm done. Thank you, honey. You have a good day.
Good luck.
You afraid?
No, not at all. I've been...
Everybody afraid.
Did you find the person who owned that sign finally?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good. How much are you getting paid to be here?
Hey, why would you say
This guy.
Because it sounds like some...
This guy is freaking hilarious, man. What a hypocrite this guy is.
Tesla protesters are getting paid to come out here.
Yeah. You need to get your head out of your ass.
Wolfman, you got to stay around for this one. This will be the last one.
Because we are not paid. We are citizens of this country, and I'm 77 years old. Make sure you record that. I will be out here every day. You're taking away my country. Goodbye. Get out of here.
Well, I have a right to stand on the street too, and so...
Well, stand on the street. Don't take up my oxygen. Get.
She taps her with the sign, don't take up my oxygen.
I think there's enough oxygen to go around. Thank you, though. I'm just confused because it almost seems like you're protesting your own, like you're angry, and that's somebody else's fault. Like I just came here and you're mad.
I am mad.
I'm not mad.
Well, because you're young. You don't know what you're losing. What I'm 77. I'm losing my country. You have no idea.
Kamala Harris is a communist. If she would have won, she would have made it so we lost our country.
Mayor, I'll talk to you.
They allowed our country to be in.
There you go. There's the left versus right paradigm lie. Well, my puppet is better than your puppet because if your puppet got the ring of power, we'd be losing our country.
Invaded, and you want to say that we're losing our country? Sure, of course. I'm happy to talk to you. What's your name? Your real name? Angela.
Do you want people to lose all their Social Security?
I believe that there's a lot of misinformation, and just because the news tells you that Trump is going to cut all the Social Security.
We could go have a back and forth?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, people have worked all their lives for Social Security just to have something to eat.
Social Security is a multi-generational Ponzi scheme.
You don't know where you're getting that. You have, how old are you?
Social Security.
Did you hear what she just said? And I don't agree with forcing somebody to pay into Social Security. That is a scam. Okay. But she just parroted Elon Musk. Listen.
I ask their lives for Social Security just to have something to eat.
Social Security is a multi-generational Ponzi scheme.
You don't know where you're getting that. You have, how old are you?
Social Security.
Can I ask how old you are? Can I ask?
How old do I look?
I don't know. Just tell me.
How old do I look? I
don't know. In the early 20s, late teens.
That guy called you a freak. Why is he a freak?
Are you just instigating? Is that all you're interested in?
No, it's just
I'm looking you in the eye, ma'am, and you can't have a straight, sincere, calm conversation. So if you can't do that, f off.
Oh my God.
I'm 26 years old. I just flipped.
You can't have a calm conversation. F off. What a hypocrite.
Off those protesters. I'm not a part of them. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't even catch your name. What was your name?
My name is Go F Off.
Oh.
Go F yourself. You're an ignorant f and you have no capacity to critically think about anything and be subtle. So intelligence is subtle, dear.
Okay, so you're a
Do you see what politics does to people? Politics literally takes your brains out of your head, runs them through the chipper, puts them back in, and then you get some kind of gobbledygook like this guy and this chick talking past each other when they're literally playing for the same political team owners. They're playing for the Federal Reserve. They're playing for the IRS. They're playing for the billionaires who back both of their candidates. And until we come to the knowledge of the truth and what's actually going on with these people and what they actually stand for, and the fact that they did have to walk away from the principled right moral position to support their clearly corrupt, on the take, sold, bought and paid for political parasite, we can't really go to square one. We're not even on square one right now as far as in the realm of humanity, because we're too busy squabbling with each other. The Democrats are too busy trying to own the Republicans. The Republicans are too busy mocking the Dems. And we're talking past each other. Man, we are all Americans. We're all on the same plane. We are all victims on the exact same plantation. Let's stop visiting the slave suggestion box and let's come to the conclusion that we don't need Washington's District of Criminals. We don't need to be ruled by the rulers. We need to get rid of all the lobbyists need to go out of business. They need to go find real jobs in textile. They need to become welders. They need to become, they need to contribute to society instead of leeching off the rest of us. So that's why I do these videos. That's why I even have a social media presence. Everything that I ever write on social media is in the hopes that one day we'll all come to the realization that all this banter back and forth in the political realm ain't doing us no good. This is exactly what the powers that shouldn't be want. They want progressive propagandists like the Secular Talk, Kyle Kulinski. They want the Dave Packmans. They want the Midas Touches and the Brian Tyler Cohens of the world on the propagandist, prostitute, progressive left. They want the counterfeit news networks. They want the rightists like Dave Rubin and Piers Morgan. They want people to banter back and forth. They want people to be engaged in the dog and pony show, the WWE, Washington's District of Criminals, Big Top clown juggling act. But the clowns will not stop pouring out of the cars as long as the stands are filled with people who want the clowns to pour out of the cars. Think that clown is going to save us. That clown is going to make my life better. That clown is going to lower my taxes. Read my lips, no new taxes. And then what happened? Look how many good things, look how many right things Ronald Reagan said, and he reneged on everything as soon as he put his hand on the Bible, lifted his hand toward heaven, and said he's going to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And then he turns around in a split second and becomes the domestic enemy that he swore to protect you from, because he's nothing more and nothing less than a puppet on the string, just like JFK, just like LBJ, just like Barack Obama, just like Clinton. And truth is extreme, and to make it moderate is to lie. Thank you guys for joining. If you want to support the channel, the links are in the description, I guess. I don't know. Or just like this video and share this video. That's all you got to do. It'll be free. If I said something you disagreed with, leave a comment in the comment section below. And hopefully we can get to the place where we can say, you know what? Freedom does have a price, and it is eternal vigilance. And indifference to this notion is the means by which the people have and will secure their own oppression. And I'm ready to stop securing my own oppression, and I'm ready to start today. I'll see you in the next video.